So you're the first time that I see you on my. It's not a regular lecture or something. It is supposed to be a workshop or a conversation between me and you. I want to know what I do and what I've been done, what I plan to do in the future. And I'm the author of much pieces of software that prevails in the Linux audio scene. Most of them are very famous. The others are very infamous, but they are a long time. So I'm Rui Nuno Capela. I came from Portugal. I always sign as my nickname, as my initials or my full name, my full family name. So it's not very pronounceable. It's just the yeah, it's just consonants. He has no vowels, so it's not pronounceable. You have to say RNCDC. Yeah, that's my name. I have my site, my personal site. My personal domain is also the rncdc.org. So where you see my actions in my work are related to the Linux audio are posted there. There is it gets to this site. It's almost sorry, but yeah, this is my site where I present most of my works related to Linux audio and MIDI in the Linux platform for too many years already. So this is the last entry. It was in May. It was as you said, every time as I get to LAC, I get to make all my stuff, all my pieces of software, release it in just one day or in just one batch, just to make it stable to be in my LAC, and I present it on these workshops and for people and our friends of Linux audio. So. How did I start? My history as a developer are very ancient. I started 30 years ago as a COBOL programmer in a bank, in a major bank in Portugal, in Lisbon, and started programming as a system programming and then in application programming, then moved to C and to C++ and to database programming, mainframe programming mostly, and then PCs programming as how do you call it, microinformatics or info center. Just the way that they used to call back then, 30 years ago, the IT sector of big corporations of the enterprise. My interest with Linux started only in this century, mostly at 2001, 2002, when I was looking for a replacement for Windows, and Windows didn't have many, Windows NT and Windows 2000. The audio drivers were not particularly good for multimedia. The native audio drivers were not good at all. And I started looking for Linux because I had already experience in using Linux for web programming and web development and server side and in front-end side, back-end side during the 90s, during the first bubble of the web, before the second bubble, it is the social web. But I was a programmer also in PHP. I shared too many lines in PHP for web programming, and then that I knew with Linux as a platform for server and for web servers were the norm, and it was extremely good. So I played music in a band in a very amateur way. I'm no professional, I'm no musician, I don't know how to read score, so, but I can read, but very slowly. Always the pace and the rhythm of the music is faster than I can read, so I can't read very slowly. And then I was looking for a Windows replacement. I looked at the Windows. At that time, there were the ALSA and the Jack was beginning or starting only in the command line, and it was a solution that was very like a messiah for audio programming and audio usage, musical usage, or music production. And then I said, well, I have to get in this. And what was lacking at that time was, let me see if I can, if it works. Yes, it works. So just one more key. Without spying anything. I started for a graphical interface for Jack. At that time, there were you have to use the command line. And you know what's the command line. I don't know if you are familiar or are comfortable with the command line. But many people in the world aren't. When they're looking for in the command, you have to do something in the command line. They remind me, oh, this is the time of the MS-DOS, or MS-DOS. I have to get back to that time. So I made the QjackCtl. Is the front end for Jack. You can use it for starting Jack, and I will try to look at it. Of course, you are familiar with it. Who doesn't know what QXGEdit is?
Yeah, we use it.
Yeah. This is the most small and most cute interface that it has, and it uses just for starting Jack and to make manage connections and make apply connections between client ports and another client ports. Clients are your applications. Are you familiar with the Jack concept? I don't have to explain it, or should I?
No, familiar.
Yes, you were also familiar with Jack, so and you are, as you said, at least you are familiar also with QjackCtl. Then after QjackCtl, so let's move on for the next slide. And it was also a second good software that was only in the command line was fluidsynth. Fluidsynth is a soft synthesizer that reads from the Soundfont 2 version 2 specification, and is a format for a sampler. It is a sampler, a multi-timbre sampler. And the Soundfont version 2 is the format of the sampling specifications for if you remember the times when Sound Blaster, the AWE, and the 16 they were implemented Soundfont in hardware. With the card, with sound card, you get at the time. It was in the 90s, the early 90s. So, but in software, in Linux, of course, you could use the Sound Blaster cards and the other cards that also have the Sound Blaster Soundfont engine in hardware. But in software, there was only fluidsynth. At the time, it was called IYW-Synth. It's from Bernard Arnape. It was the creator of it, and then it was renamed for fluidsynth. And Qsynth is the front end for the synth. It's not much interesting, or it just makes you easier to load sound fonts from your file system file from disk, and then connect the MIDI configurator, of course, and you use a MIDI keyboard or a MIDI player to render the MIDI into sound according to the instrument's definition that you get on the Soundfont file. So at almost at the same time, I'm talking about already in the years of 2003 and 4. There started also a very big project in Linux. It was LinuxSampler. Also a command line only sample instrument that it was supposed to emulate or clone the GigaSample from Tascam at the time. It was the sample format with too many articulations. It was extremely complex, but the engine that was rendered by LinuxSampler was terribly good, and it misses also the front end for graphical front end for you to manipulate. You have to resort to the command line. Many people, again, that don't feel comfortable, and you just run away from that. So it starts Qsampler. It is also a graphical interface to LinuxSampler, and there is a particular thing with LinuxSampler and its front end that LinuxSampler serves as a client-server interface. It's not like a binary that manages on the other space of the operating system. You can put the engine in another box on the other part of the world, and you can control it here from this side of the world, just using the internet connection, a TCP connection, if you want. And Qsampler uses that protocol to contact to the LinuxSampler wherever it is, or if it, mostly you find it in the same machine, but you can use it in another machine that are hidden somewhere. Just that we call it headless machine that just have the engine, they have all the resources to produce the sound, and you can control it or load more samplers, unload or manage the samples remotely. But it's not the usual use case. Most of the people using the same machine use as almost can use it also as a plugin. It is a recent addition to the types that LinuxSampler can use. You can use as a plugin and also as a standalone server. And in the plugins you have DSSI, and you have VST, and you have LV2. So you can choose it, provided we have hosts to run the plugins. Okay. If you have doubts, you can interrupt me, or doubts or any questions, you can always interrupt me, because we are having a conversation. It's not a lecture, okay? I'm not teaching you anything, just explaining the history, the things, what is Qstuff. You see that until now, there are three pieces, was QjackCtl, Qsynth, and Qsampler, all begins with the letter Q. And that's why I also call it Qstuff. There are others coming next that also start with the letter Q. And why Q? Q because the graphical interface, and the user interface framework program for programming that I use, and that is used, is Qt. Qt or Qt. From earlier in Qt, then Nokia, now it's independent Qt company. KDE is fully supporting Qt, so it's made in Qt. There are many softwares that are also made in Qt. There was a war in the beginning of the century between the licensing terms that Richard Stallman didn't like, because they have dual licensing. Qt is used in commercial programming, okay? In proprietary programs and in proprietary applications and so on. But they all have the open source license. In the beginning, the open source license was specific to Qt. It was the QPL, it was the Qt public license. It wasn't GPL. And Richard Stallman and the Free Software Foundation was dealing with, you cannot do that, you cannot do, it's not real free software, not real open source. You know, things of Richard Stallman, you know, and that one. And by that time, there was a Microsoft wannabe from Mexico. It was the Miguel de Casa. That, oh, this is my opportunity to make something good for the world, and he invented GNOME. And GNOME was based in GTK. It is the toolkit of GIMP, and the history, and that's history. Okay, so everybody, I think you are also familiar with this tricky. But Qt, why did I choose Qt or Qt? Okay, if you look at the time or in any time, Qt is a C++. GTK is not C++. It's just there is a C++ wrapper for C, and it's basically on C. And it's very ancient, it's very badly documented. You have to make many trouble to make a real world application in GTK. Okay, hardware is in GTK, but that's also another story.
But did you start programming with Qt with your Qstuff, or
yes,
programming with Qt before?
Yeah. I started in Qt version 3 at the time, and I started from that moment on. We were using Qt because Qt is pure C++. It implements object-oriented programming, which I was proficient at the time from professional world and the banking and financial world, and Qt is very good product. It's a commercial product today and back in time. So it's very robust and very good. Yeah? And it's in now, just 5 years ago, more or less, 7 years probably. The license turned real software open source, and it started at GPL, and then later it started as pure LGPL, or less free or less. The library, it could be the library GPL, so they don't have many issues against linking applications, non-open source or proprietary applications using GPL, Qt code, and the LGPL code is more liberal in that sense. But Qt may be considered now fully open source and supporting open source and free software from the start on. There was a timeout in my PC, I was not handling it. So what comes next? After LinuxSampler, Qsampler, do you know Qsampler also? Or LinuxSampler?
I never use it.
Yeah, it's also a sampler, multi-timbral, Linux roller, with many powerful features. It supports sound font too, giga formats. It was the giga format, you don't find it much more anymore. But latest it has also SFZ from the K-pop synths, and that is the most usable and used format to describe an instrument according to several samples and regions and articulations and good parameters and operators. You can have much more freedom to build or to specify an instrument based on samples. Or when I say here samples, it's audio PCM format, the regular wave, .wave, .au. It's PCM data. Okay.
Does it support the unofficial SF3 as well?
SF3?
Yeah,
I don't know that. It's completely new.
That's basically that's done by the MuseCore people, and that's basically I think SFZ, but with a OGG wave file in. So that's instead of wave. The goal was mainly from MuseCore to get some sound font, not as big as a wave package, but with an OGG package. So I think
but is it the format in the SF2?
that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But the difference is
With the SFZ, you can use any sound file format.
okay.
You know, you can use OGG, can you even use MP3?
Okay.
But it depends on the engine. In this case, LinuxSampler or any other engine, if it implements that format or not. But LinuxSampler uses libsmd5. It's a library that gets all any file format, audio sample, DCM file format that you can see in the world, except MP3 or AAC. It's the new norm. But that's lossy formats. You don't really. It's not really recommended to use lossy formats to express instruments. It's good for the consumer, for the final consumer to listen to music. But if you are a producer, a musician or producer of sound or sound engineering, you stay away. You have to stay away from lossy formats. You know? Use FLAC, use Wave, or use what is the AAC without compression. So that's enough for Qsampler. And then in 2005, it was also the year that I get to my first LAC attendance. It was the LAC 2005 in Karlsruhe. I started with the idea to develop a sequencer, because at the time also, it always depends on if you look back in the time. At the time, what we already have hardware, but hardware only deals with audio, PCM audio. We had already have Rose Garden and Muse, not MuseCore. It was the predecessor version of the MuseCore, but Rose Garden was only MIDI at the time. And music had audio and MIDI. It was a mess. It was crashing all the time. I didn't get to it. But I really thought to propose to the music developers. It was Werner Schwerner, I think, at the time. If it is the same guy that do audio on MuseCore, and proposed them to make a collaboration, to have a very good sequencer with the audio and MIDI. But when I looked at the time also to the source code of the music, it was variable's name was in German. All the comments were in German, and for German I understand this thing, nothing. So I could not help them, and they could not help me. So I started my own project. It was called Qtractor, and it was, from the start, it was to be an audio and MIDI sequencer, multi-track sequencer, and recorder also. You can record audio and MIDI and many other things at the time. We started at that. 2 years later, in 2007, in Berlin, in LAC 2007, was presented, officially presented, the first version, the first usable version, with all the features, all the missions were already there, as an audio and MIDI sequencer, but it was posed at the time, it had no tempo map, so you have to stick with only one tempo and only one time signature, normally 4/4. That's why at the time the slogan was the Techno Web Bedroom Studio. It was the DOW for the Techno Web, just to making some techno tunes and 4x4. It was the only. Then 1 year later, it appeared the first instrument plugin specification for Linux. It was called Dizzy, or Dizzy SSI. I also implemented native VST. These are VST plugins that are compiled and built in Linux architecture and the platform. It's not to be confused by VSTs that run on Windows. This is VSTs that you have the source code and you can build and compile it in Linux. And then support also for tempo map, varying or tempo map various tempi and time signatures. You're not anymore fixed with just one tempo from start to end, and not only 4 on the floor. 1 year later, LB2. Then appeared this acronym. Of course, I don't know. The people that are in the other room knows what this acronym means, but we probably don't know. Yeah. 2011 was the year of QJackCtl automation. That's automation was implemented in QJackCtl. It was the last big feature that QJackCtl was added. And since then, yeah, I didn't have any much more to do. So I started with my spare time, because as you can see, I have lots of spare time to do these things. And I had much small projects. There are very few. I use that QXGEdit is because I have at least three machines with a DB50 XG card from Yamaha. This is things from the 90s. It's not nothing new. It was a daughter board that you plug into a sound blaster at the time, and some other sound cards that applied for the daughter board interface. And you get in hardware, you get a real multi-timbre synth, and the sound and the XG specification MIDI. It's the extension of the general MIDI specification from Yamaha. It's called XG, and you get with just MIDI, as you know it, that cheesy sound from many instruments that you know, and you can add much more expression and much more reality, and it really starts to sing and starts to make real instruments driven by MIDI. It's very good, and the software is just an editor of the presets and all the parameters that the daughter board has. It's just a manager for SysEx MIDI, SysEx, you know, SysEx MIDI. It's just a manager to upload the definitions for the instrument, and you can manage that. That's why I just invented it. It's just to scratch my own itch, because I didn't have any equivalent in Linux at the time, but it's not used anymore. It's just junk hardware and software that I have in home. I still use it. It still sounds great, but it's not. Nobody uses that because no sound card or no device now ships with the daughter board interface. So old sound blasters. This is the early 90s, and the year that the daughter board from Yamaha came to the market was 1995. So it's pretty old.
Is it still supported under other OSs like Mac or Windows, like the XG standard?
They are since the end. There are hardware from a Yamaha that still use it, but they are not. They are discontinued.
Yeah, so there is no software anymore running on modern
Mac anymore. No, not much. Not much or not at all. Yes. So only for backwards compatibility, and there are too many. I know, I have. I can give you the archive. Many MIDI files that, when played with a real XG device, they sound marvelous. You don't get it then nowadays, even with the LinuxSampler and samples. Okay, that's okay. Now, Then the other ones are interfaces from the net. The 2009, more or less, Nokia came out with a pure Linux we call it internet tablet. It was the N8050 and what was a N900. It was a telephone with a Linux system over there. You can compile programs there and then. So, but I just made for fun a MIDI controller with a touch screen that there, but it's not real MIDI that's going through a cable or but over Wi-Fi or network interface. In the case of the telephone or the mobile telephone, it was with Wi-Fi, wireless, of course, and that's why the hub or the gateway, if you have on your machines, it's called QMIDI and it just translates the raw MIDI that goes over the air into the jack ports, jack MIDI ports, or also MIDI ports. So, and it's really plug and play. You don't have to run cables everywhere. You can use only QMIDI nets on several machines. They are connected with the network, either a wireless or wired, and you just can transmit MIDI, real MIDI, very fast and very low or almost no latency over the wire or over the air. You can connect several machines with MIDI with that. Several Linux machines because it has to be jack or else. There are equivalents, you can contact also equivalents in Windows and in Mac, but you have to pay for the equivalent software, and it is compatible with this. It was IP MIDI. If you look around, it's compatible. So you can contact MIDI machine, Windows machines, Apple machines, and Linux machines. And throw MIDI over there and make a mesh of MIDI using network. It uses UDP, IP, multicast, so it just run the pieces, MIDI net, it appears as a small icon on a system tray, and you can connect your remote machine to this one, and then for your applications that are in this machine. In this machine, and in the other machine, you have to connect what comes from outside goes to that application. So this is for very small projects. I will take much time with them, unless you are interested in knowing it. And then a few years later, I feel bored again and started to make my own instruments. In the format of standalone instruments, as jack instruments, or as an LV2 plugin, because that's the new standard plugin, standard specification, especially in Linux. And it's Linux audio standard. Synth Science V1, sorry, now I was spelling in Portuguese. But Science V1 is a traditional classical subtractive synth with 2 oscillators and 2 engines. So you have at your disposal 4 oscillators and several stages of amplifiers, LFOs, and filters, and they have a much interesting filter that is my own creation. That is a format filter. It's only funny. It's a toy, but it's interesting because it's incorporated in the other. I can show it now or then when I get over this introduction. That's it. Sample V1 is a sampler. Instead of having an oscillator, generated oscillator, it has a file sample, a PCM file sampler, and then it just samples that, and it passes also from the same stages: filters, LFOs, and amplifiers and effects. I was forgetting the effects because it has also a phaser, a reverb, a delay line, a chorus, and a flanger, if I'm not mistaken, and other pieces of minor importance. Drum key V1 is the same of sample V1, but it's not melodic. It's more towards to the percussional. So one key, one sample. And instead of key, this is all keys are mapped melodically to one sample. This is sample V1. So this is a melodic instrument. This is a percussive instrument, or tries to model a percussive instrument. But it's more towards that each sample are percussive. He has a start point and then it fades in time. I will show you one by one if you wish. It was my proto-toys that I started in 2012, and all the suffix become as V1 because I thought it's version 1. But they standard, of course, for the time, and now it's called the V1 suite. It's not version 1 suite, it's V1 suite. Okay? Things of the past, but it still endures. Okay, I have already presented myself, and my biggest project, of course, is Qtractor. As you saw, I saw you earlier, since it was presented in Berlin, it was 10 years has passed, and 10 years after, where we are going, where we are staying, and it's still a work in progress. It's a mixed feeling, I would say, because since I was in Graz in 2013, 4 years ago, I presented, it was the first issue of this kind of workshops, or this kind of conversations, and I said, I have too much work, I have family, so the spare time that I do, now this will fade away, and I will only get, all these projects are in maintenance mode. So don't expect me any big new features, or any, let alone any new big projects. So the Qstuff is this one, and it will stay like this. So unless someone bribes me in such a way that I can do it as they want. But when I say bribe, there's not money involved. It's like a very good reason, or a very good patch or idea that I find it very compelling and interesting, of course, and I can do it. But it takes a deal, or a very deal to make me believe that it's a very good reason. Until then, all things are in maintenance mode. I fix bugs that appear, that people, of course, Qjackctl is a very complex project. There are many bugs lurking in there, I'm sure. It's not perfect. No, there is no perfect software, let alone in the open source world, or in the world at all. So the bugs I will fix. If you really wish any new feature that you like, or that you really want, explain me. You can explain, of course, to me very well, what were ideas and you think, or there's, of course, there should be no alternative in the other solutions, or in R, or in SUSE, or MUSE, or Bitwig, or Bitwig is a closed software.
if you buy them the software, of course, they are very pleased to do what you want. But that's okay. Almost that's all for the Qstuff presentation, and then I will start to the crown jewel of the Qstuff is Qtractor. If you have any questions? Now it's the boring part. I don't know if you already know Qtractor, or are they just interesting, or you want to know more and more things. And I know that you are one of the translators for French, sorry. So you know it already very well. You do the linguistic distribution also,
Yes.
and so he is very familiar with Qtractor. I don't know about you too. If you want to make some demonstration, or are you making some questions? Are you interested in something more in particular?
I'm really confusing about which tool need to work together and which tool can be used by itself.
Anyone can be used by itself. They are self-contained, of course. And the Qtractor is not pure modular. It can work in standalone, in self-contained, but it can also work with external equipment or internal other software that are external to Qtractor. You can have, if you, for example, you can have several instances of Qtractor running at the same time. Think about polyrhythms. Well, each instance only works on one timeline as one tempo map or tempo sequence, and one time signature at a time for the whole vertical layout for the whole timeline. But another instance of Qtractor can run in another time signature or even tempo. Okay? So you can have several instances, and each one with their own rhythm. Yeah? That's how you could implement polyrhythms in compositions. But we have to do in several instances of Qtractor. Each Qtractor only accepts one rhythm in a vertical sense for each timeline. Okay? But they are synchronized if you use check transport. They start at the same time, or at the same time, not in the same position. Because in the same position, you also see that things can be different if you wish. The instruments, the V1, the synth, the sampler, and the drum kit sampler. They are coming standalone, or you get to have a plugin also. You can have several. In a way, you can have as many as you want. Several instances, and you can mix the plugins inside the DAW. Not in particular, they are not exclusive to Qtractor. You can use the V1s in hardware, or you can use the V1s in music. You can use probably in every other LV2 plugin most. Okay? They are, although the user interface are very similar, they are not exclusive to Qtractor, okay, or any other of the Qstuff. So they are mostly they are islands that are connected with a sea of Jack or MIDI connections. Did I answer the question? Okay. More?
Did you have some big contributor in the past, or is it kind of
no?
one man?
I must say that 99% of the source code was written by me.
Yeah.
The only, if I'm not mistaken, only one part was mostly written by another guy. It was called, nicknamed by Gizmo or something, digital Gizmo, and it was the part of the generic controllers configuration. I will show you what it is. It's just one one entry of the menu, which is very exoteric. And it's this one, view controllers. This part of the code is substantial. If you look to the code, it's substantial, but it was almost written by another guy. That's the only part that I would say that's the 1% of the code that was written by someone else. Of course, I accept fixes in source code and pull requests in GitHub or in SourceForge. There are several repositories, Git repositories. GitHub is not exclusive, SourceForge is not exclusive. I have my own repository in my own server. That's this is the master, of course, but all the others are in mirrors. So it's really distributed. Yeah, they are all in sync. But yeah, if you go to the GitLab, there's a repository for all the Qstuff, each one. If you put there a ticket or an issue or create there a pull, I will accept it. It's valid. If you pull good, otherwise you would go to bitbucket.org. I accept it also. If you go to GitHub, okay. But most importantly, is the original is in SourceForge, but not necessarily the exclusive. I don't pay more attention to it. I don't have a preference. It's only by story that is the original host of these projects. So, just to make this is Qtractor as it appears, and is it is mostly based in Cakewalk Pro Series back in the 90s, late 90s. You remember Cakewalk is something to you? Do you remember what is Cakewalk?
Yeah, old memories.
One of the best MIDI sequencers of all time, and it was a competitor to QXGEdit also. And I bought the license to use it, but it was in Windows until Windows 98, and it worked very, very good. And it was also an audio and MIDI. At that time, it was Cakewalk Pro Audio version 9. Then Cakewalk renamed. The next version was renamed as Sonar. Now it still exists with that brand. So it is based on the early Cakewalk. Now it's rebranded as Sonar, and Cakewalk it doesn't exist anymore as a brand. Now I think it's Gibson or Yamaha. Gibson, I think it's Gibson. Gibson for guitars. Yeah, I own the franchise. And yeah, you can just add anything here as long as standard audio, PCM or standard MIDI. One of the features or the topics that Qtractor tries to maintain since the day one, or since it was designed, was it only uses standard MIDI files. It only stores data as standard audio MIDI files and standard MIDI files. It doesn't create any new format of musical data or sound. If you have MIDI files produced by others, you can put it in Qtractor, and Qtractor can sequence them. You have audio files, any other type of audio files, you can arrange and put together with MIDI files or MIDI clips as they are represented inside Qtractor to make your arrangement or composition. Yeah, the layout is almost always a timeline, very popular, very used in all other DAWs until the appearance of Ableton Live. Ableton Live appeared with the layout of like a spreadsheet. It was a big innovation, and it was initially was only audio, and you put clips or loops inside the spreadsheet, and you can arrange that in the grid. But one particular feature of Ableton Live that made it all the rage and it made it a very successful live performance software was the time stretching, or they call it warping. That was you can do it with very good performance and very good results, acoustical results, and you can do it either in almost real time, but enough real time to be acceptable in a live situation. The algorithm and the library that Ableton Live was using at that time was Elastic Pro, that is closed source from Zplane DE, the German or the other German company, and it's closed source proprietary company, and I could not bring that for Qtractor or for any kind of software. And the quality that we have now are the traditional, the classical overlapping modes and Edo was all and also from the library from Chris Canham and the University, Queen Mary University of London. Chris Canham is the author of Sonic Visualizer and Rose Garden. He's not the original author of Rose Garden, but he's the main guy that behind Rose Garden, as we know it now. But the quality and performance of Elastic Pro and the little rubber band is not comparable. It's not comparable. It's not catch-up. Excuse me, my French, or pardon my French, Elastic is fucking pro, you know, but it's closed source, you cannot use it. So, then Ableton Live was also incorporating MIDI, and he extended as a full DAW, as we know it today, as we know it also. Big Studio is also a full DAW, is making as a all-in-one environment and platform. It's becoming, this piece of software is becoming the platform on its own. It's not easy. Also, I must tell, also hardware is becoming also the same. You only use one software that rules everything, and you put everything extended or as modules, but they are plugins. It's not real modular. You are not really using the potential of connecting several things like in Jack, but they use it internally, like in hardware or in B3 or Ableton Live or Reason, several other DAWs that are popular and are very successful in the market. Of course, they cannot be compared with Qtractor. Qtractor is free software. It's made just for one guy that is just a very nice guy that gives you it away. And but he really likes if you use the software, of course. Every creator will be flattered if you use it. You use it productively for your own taste. So it's just because I think I'm as bad a musician. I never was a very good musician or a musician at all, if I could say it. But since I entered the Linux audio life, as they say, I stopped to play any instrument on my own, as to make me production. So I started coding and then never looked back. So that's a life-changing event that occurred for me. But I cannot go back anymore. Time doesn't go back, only goes forward. Now I'm too old now for the future. Let's see if this sounds anything. Be careful, this is house music. This is the 404. Just to show up how do you see it. If you are not familiar, of course, this is nothing new for you. It's just a timeline sequencer that plays. Now it's playing in loop. This is audio. This is audio. This is MIDI. Okay, and MIDI is now is going to a MIDI editor. Now you see just a piano roll. Very familiar, so nothing new. But why the sound is rendered by where? There's also has a mixer console integrated. This strip is the MIDI one. There's a sample of that. So this is the MIDI one, and it is using one of my other Qstuff. This is sample one, sample V1. This is the one that is producing the sound of the similar to Rhodes piano, chorus piano, Rhodes piano playing in the background. So this is all automated. I don't know if you wish to. You see the it's not the Rhodes piano. I used to do it, but this part is not the Rhodes piano. It's something else. Drum and bass pair, but this is a sample that I got from the sample library somewhere. But it's royalty free, and that's why I don't provide my own presets or presets with these V1 instruments, because most of these are sample based, and I don't have the rights to use my own sample. Or you could use a royalty sample, but that's not the point. But sample V1, Synth V1 is a synthesizer. It has many presets, but with a third party. Other guy that he was, I think, Brian DC. It's not you, no? Okay, because I don't know your name. It's on your tag, but I can remember not really. More questions? You have anything to add about the? This is just a little business, not very simple. I made it on yesterday night after the dinner, so it's very terribly easy. Just to read it.
The interface reminds me a lot of Ardour software. Did you inspire?
I would say, even the whole layouts and the user interface was based in K-pop.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was my baseline. Okay. So other, of course, if you look at many other DAWs, they are the same. It's a timeline. It's a timeline based. It's a canvas with a timeline and a mixer. Yeah, we do not even invent much more. But I can tell you an anecdote. When I was in 2007 in Berlin, there was also the CEO from Ableton. Yeah. And I was bragging that QjackCtl as it is. This is a timeline based, but what I really want to do is a clone of Ableton Live, and I will do it in 3 years. 3 years have passed, a lot of the songs have gone, and why did I did achieve that goal? Of the reasons of the time stretching that we have available is not good. It would be a nightmare to put that thing at the level at Ableton Live, so it wouldn't do it. So it's set as is, as now. And there are a couple of interesting projects that happened in the past. If you, I don't know if you remember Freewheeling. It was a live looper that existed, and it's just it uses an interface that are very probably you can see if they are internet connection. I can show you. This is the outer. Just let's see if the internet is stalled. So. But it's a live looper. A live looper, as I said, you can put several loops in a grid, and then you can play to the loops, and you see also instead of seeing the wave shape linearly, you see in the circle, in the round and round, and you can use it interactively and play like you do in Ableton Live or Qt GUI or in Qsynth. So the user interface is different. And he asked me to make a recording feature for Freewheeling, a live recorder. So he wants to play making a performance while I'm looping, and he said, I want this recorded, but I want to record as metadata, not the real audio data that is looping. So it's just recording is just creating the clips over the timeline in real time, creating the clips in the timeline of Qtractor, and that was achieved. That was later. Freewheeling was abandoned by the zone author, and that interface it was OSC interface between the two, between Freewheeling and Qtractor, and it still lives in the branch in the GitHub or source, but in the source tree, resides in a different branch. But no, if Freewheeling died, it doesn't make sense to put that in the main source code. Another thing, looking back to the scenes and that format filter that I told you. If you want to come here to try the scenes, you can. Yeah, you're not. I'll just. Okay. This is the scenes we want. You have to connect at least the MIDI, because this is a new keyboard. It's not in the batch bay of QXGEdit yet. This is the default sound. I have several presets already loaded. It's from Jeremy. He's going there in a member team. This makes the, I think it makes use of a format. Louder. It's using one of the filter types. You can choose between the four, but the regular 212 dB state variable filter, and the Moog one, the Moog type one is the 24 dB per octave, a standard B quad, and the format is my own creation. It makes this sound like a voice, a human voice. wow, 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 wow. Just like that, just a toy. This kind of filter. Anything interesting for you to talk about more?
Yeah, for example.
I cannot make a performance because I said that I'm a lousy musician. I'm not a musician at all.
Yeah, but for playing or just like to use your toy, for you it's enough to have a MIDI keyboard and all your synthesizer or sampler.
Yes.
It's enough for creation for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And you can not really need a real physical MIDI keyboard. You can use the piano roll of Qjackctl, for example, to enter MIDI notes by hand or by recording. If you can record by a MIDI controller, you can record automation with a MIDI controller. You can record the performance, the data performance, musical, melodic, and percussive data as a MIDI with a MIDI controller or with a virtual MIDI piano keyboard that always exists in almost every distribution. I still use this one, very old one from Takashi. This is a virtual keyboard that you can use to emulate, so it's free. It's free for you to use it instead of having real hardware. You can use the keyboard, the PC keyboard, the keys here. I have to connect to the synth. I will do it. I will try to do it. So you're late, no?
Late to class, oh no.
Oh no, and now? Punishment?
So now your punishment is to play a tune.
Where?
And I recorded it. Oh, it's already there. I'm using the PC keyboard, using the virtual keyboard, so
I would be also interested to see the graphic interface of the other tools, the other software, for example the Qsample, even the others.
It starts empty, it's an empty canvas, and now you start dealing with you also see that the Linux server was started because it's configured to start automatically when if not currently running in the machine. There's the configuration to start.
I can show you your LinuxSampler underneath? Is it using the LinuxSampler?
Yes.
Okay.
It is supposed to run on the local host. As I said, it's the client server architecture, so it will run on the same machine, and it started with this command line that is good. So it's already started, and you can start to add instruments or channel samplers, sample channels. And the interface, you have to choose the format of the sample. There is currently 3 types, or call it the engines. Giga format, or Giga sample format. SF2 is the same as fluidsynth or soundfont version 2. Or SFZ is the new open specifications for samples. And LinuxSampler supports any of these 3. But we have to choose one for creating a sample channel. Now, a given format, I have to look for a sample file, or it's called a sampler instrument file or library.
To import, you mean the folder where are the samples to import on the software?
Yes.
Okay.
To load it into the LinuxSampler, to the server or to the engine. I say that the input, MIDI input is also is a chromatic or melodic. It's called in the chromatic here, but it's a melodic map for notes for samples. No, being chromatic, the samples are pitched accordingly to the key notes of the piano keyboard. Audio goes to jack. You can choose somehow, or you can choose also. But at this time you get a sampler channel which has other instrument over there, and it works like you give MIDI to him and he sends audio out to jack. So we just connect here something just to listen what is there. I will connect this keyboard that I have here, and I'm dealing to LinuxSampler. This is the engine, that is the real engine, not the. This is the user interface for the front end to the server. So there's no sound, no MIDI happens at the front end of the server. It gets on the behind the scenes on the server on the engine.
You connect through a socket to the LinuxSampler?
Yes, but this is only for the managing control.
Mm.
Yeah, this is a load this sample or play that channel sample to this device, and it's just a control protocol. It's called LSCP. The LinuxSampler control protocol is just like HTTP, but with a special syntax and the order in the protocol, of course. Is it connected? Yes, it is now. Now, should you ought to be playing? It's not playing because also the audio is not connected to the speakers. Now it should be. The only feedback that we see is this fake LED is saying that he's reading MIDI input, and the one is this number here over the right is the number of current voices running. That's the information that the server gives to you to the front end. You can add some. So this is the first one. So this is the volume of the whole server. But basically, this is the interface. You can add, remove channels, see the properties of each channel, where it is connected, where the MIDI comes from, where is the MIDI channel that is assigned. You can set up a multi-timbral setup with the LinuxSampler. We have, for example, we have 16 sample channels, with each one with its own instrument, or we call it a preset or instrument sound, and you can put a whole orchestra or symphony playing at the same time using only it's what I call multi-timbral instrument. Each type of instrument, like a guitar, a violin, and whatever, are on each channel, okay? And each channel is mapped to one MIDI channel. MIDI channel is the address. Just said MIDI channel 1 is for piano, MIDI channel 2 is for another type of piano or whatever.
Is it one way to see how long is the sample we choose, or
No, there's no interface to see visually the shape of the audio. This is just something to see the state of the machine, of the engines. No feedback, visual feedback for pretty high, prettify the visual, and they put there a wave shape. Oh, yeah, it's very long, or say how long the sample it is. But an instrument can be arranged by several samples. It's not just one. It can be articulated with several samples, mapped with several velocities or several layers, and each layer corresponds to several triggering parameters, and it's very complex. The QjackCtl format and the SFZ format are very, very rich in that sense. You can really emulate a real piano with these formats. What is not very easy, or is very limited with the SF2. So this is Qsampler. This is also one of the front ends that LinuxSampler there. There are other front ends like Qsampler. It's made in Java. It's not made by me. It's not Qstuff. It's more of Jstuff. He has several layouts of user interface schemes. I would say one of them very popular is Fantasia, and but I don't talk about it here because it's not new for me. It's no Qstuff. But it's an alternative. You can use the other front ends for the same engine that's LinuxSampler. Yeah. Just simulating another. Oh, let's do an SFZ. So this is an SFZ, and now you have to be careful. We have to assign that to another MIDI channel, but it's automatically because it's suggested automatically. But you have to have the chance to make it. So we have now we have two instruments, one for each channel, one for each MIDI channel. The MIDI channel is also stated here, and the lab. If any input that appears on that channel, only this way, only this is selected on channel 1. If I change to channel 2, because I don't quite remember how it is done, because everybody uses channel 1, and it's in factory default. So to make the channel 2, you have to twist here something else. To reconfigure our hardware. So, but I can use the virtual keyboard. I have to connect to LinuxSampler, of course. Control the channel. I put channel 1. Now it's 0 based, so channel 1 here is channel 2. For there. It depends if it's 0 based or 1.
Depends if you're a programmer or not.
Yeah. At binary level, it's 0, but for the human interface, it should be 1. Okay? I have to connect it. I don't already know where is QXGEdit that you can see. Let's see. I will bring it back. So now it's virtual keyboard to LinuxSampler. See, if I change this back to channel 1, oh, channel 0. Now that's strange. Why the two are playing? two channels are playing, but the MIDI only affects here.
Is that because of the virtual keyboard? Because it sends on multiple channels or something?
No, it's, you are saying he plays on one, on two. Now this is a drum kit sample, a library, and each key is mapped to one sample. So that is this instrument, the SFC. But I don't know why, if I change here to 0, why you play it here. Yeah, on the way. Wait.
Not necessarily.
Oh, channel 2.
But is it receiving on both channels?
Anyway, it probably is a bug in LinuxSampler. Not in Qsampler. But so something here escaping me, but you know what's
Probably configured it in
Yeah,
Omni mode.
but it's playing both instead of, but here it's only shown where the right channel where it goes. Maybe the sample definition, it's probably the SFZ specification needs another thing. Doesn't have the notion of channel filter. I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm just speculating. But something is going on wrong. More, now it's your turn. You were late, now you get it.
Now we do what?
Yeah, make questions.
Oh, alright. What do you use to make SFZ?
SFZ, but I don't do SFZ.
Oh, okay.
It's a form. It's not. What is SFZ? SFZ is an open form.
Yeah, it's just
It's a batch of samples, application samples, and it's a text file. It's called with the suffix .sfz, and the text file it has text entries to make the attributes and definitions and configurations.
I was hoping to,
They say that this region or this region of the key, for example, this region of the keyboard applies to one set of samples with these parameters, and these parameters equal something, and then the other region is another sample, and you can say there are two regions over the same keyboard region that plays with different velocities. If you play harder on a keyboard, it plays one sample or one region, and if you play it very softly, it goes to another. It's articulated in this way. You can put several layers, almost infinite, but it depends on your computer resources, not on the specification.
Is there, you were also talking about Qtractor and other Q things, right? Can I ask something about Qtractor?
Sorry, I know what was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Now, because I'm looking to it. What was making sound was this.
Oh,
But the
okay.
71 was already connected to the virtual keyboard.
Yeah,
Yeah?
clear. Obviously.
Yeah. If I were to switch this off, there's no.
Yeah.
Now it's only playing the first. Am I sure? Yeah, now it's already playing.
Problem solved.
But that could be solved at the sample V1 level because it is in Omni mode. It accepts on all channels.
That's what I thought.
And that's why it was reading on channel 1 and also in the channel 2, and it was expecting what was coming from the same keyboard. Yeah. you have two softwares doing the same thing. But nothing is wrong with LinuxSampler nor Qsampler. It was a problem between share and T1. Anything else?
I have a question regarding QjackCtl actually.
Oh yeah.
It's more of a design question basically.
Sure.
Because I've been using it for quite some time, and every once in a while I need it. Unfortunately, I'm using tiling window manager, and it just doesn't scale too well because it seems to always be recognized as a floating window, so it tiles up to the whole space of the screen. Is there any way of preventing that?
There's an option, but it can work for you or not.
Okay.
Is the option? You go to the options.
Yeah.
Okay. Set that one and then this one.
Keep child.
Try with or without this, which is best for you.
Keep child windows always on top. Okay.
If you get this, all the windows stays on top, and they are not the same as a full-fledged floating window.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It works.
It's considered a tool window.
Yeah. Now it's
window manager
full
can
float mode basically when I do that. But is there any way of making Qt have the standard size of it, or preventing it from basically scaling upwards?
This is the window manager that are scaling it.
Yeah.
Because you are to tile, you are making a tile, and they are just from the Qt application. They're saying resize me to
The maximum size basically.
the size of that tile.
Yeah. Huh. Because I just wonder, sometimes when I use, for instance, when I use Ardour with some plugin, some LV2 plugin, when I open the interface for it, it's probably recognized as a sub window, I think, and then it just gets really drawn to the size that it is, and not
because it's not a sub window, it's a child window.
Yeah.
It's if you have a child window, like a dialog, like what, it belongs to the main application,
okay.
and not managed by the. At least their Z plane or the Z order are not managed by the window manager. It belongs to always put in front on the main application.
I guess it also gets propagated differently.
Parent
X than
parent
this.
window.
Okay.
Yeah, but in QjackCtl, all windows are childless. All are full-fledged floating. That option that I gave you, it only changed one hint. The window manager that this is not a tool window. So, but he has to put always in front of everything else.
Yeah, I guess I will just have to teach Qtile also to not rescale it basically.
Or with some script or something. When this window class appears, make some changes. X allows you to do that.
Yeah. Have you dived into Wayland for your applications, or are they?
I tried that. I've used it in Fedora, for Fedora 25. Now it ships with Wayland and Windows.
Is it?
I don't like it. I don't like it because of the GNOME 3 shell that it has. But it works as I expected most of the thing.
But then it's
including Qtractor and including QXGEdit or Qstuff. Except the system tray. I mean that you don't see here.
Yeah.
But you know the system tray?
Yeah, system tray is very strange in GNOME, that's true.
No, in GNOME 3. Because it works well in GNOME 2.
Yeah.
Or the classic interface.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the shell, GNOME shell,
Yeah, that's a design choice.
better don't use system try.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't appear on where you want, or it appears whenever you don't want. Yeah. I really don't know what these guys of GNOME 3 were smoking. Really, did they find that is better for them?
Yeah, you're not the first one, I guess, to comment on that this way. I totally get that.
So in quick,
I still use KDE since the first version, so I'm not a real, you for GNOME you only hear rants from me.
Yeah.
Qtractor, is there a way to extract the beat from a piece? So you have a clip
Nope.
or a track?
Extract from the audio from the system.
No.
No,
It would be useful
no.
to beat align certain
No.
events.
No, it's not. I don't know what you're saying. You could be using the VAMP plugins or the extraction the plugin specification, but it doesn't use that. Or it could use audio.
Yeah.
That library. It doesn't use, but I don't find really, I don't find personally very useful because I often, in myself, of course, you have your opinion, I always have my other tools to make the beat separation or beat extraction. If you use the Shuriken beat slicer.
But how would you, for instance, you have one track and you want to have something, events aligned to that track, and maybe...
Yes, I remember that, but
Is there another way to do that?
I see the clips or the sound files are already classified or categorized with the full extent of the file, the length of the file, are already an integral multiple of the beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that I recommend to you to work.
Okay.
That's the way that most of the commercial sound libraries or sound samples that you see, loop libraries that you find in commercial.
Okay, so
they come with these specifications. The length of the file is a multiple integral of the beats.
Yeah, you have to know the beats per minute exactly, and then multiply.
But if it's an integral file, I can use Qtractor to see what the tempo of the loop is.
Oh, okay. That's helpful.
Okay, let's take an example. I will start another blank sheet. I will introduce here a clip that I don't know exactly if it is the current tempo is this one. Okay, and we are playing. I'm just putting here a clip, a random that I will get this, but it has to be that with that property. The integral part length should be integral.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, you have to have.
There is one. Of course, you can see that the name of the clip. It is the name of the file. There is the medium. It's only for example, but I don't know yet. But now I have to put there. I have two ways. Or right there 90 directly manually, or I can make the calculation. Is the
but it could be 90.
Is this one?
.1 or something, or 90.35.
I select the clip. Use the clip menu, and then there is this option, tempo is used, and then I will see that for this clip that starts here, I will rather say that he has 1, 2, 3, 4. I see visually 4 beats, and I say after all he knows not 4. 2 beats, but I will have to adjust for 2 beats on the whole file. or 4 or 8.
So there's no way to extract it from the audio.
No, not yet. This have to be this kind of thing.
Okay.
You did adjust it and then you place.
Well, there are libraries for that.
And now you have already aligned it with the timeline. In the other way, let's see. I don't have let's take it in another way. Put it again. This is my clip. I don't know, but I know it's integral length. And I want to transform or time stretch to this. My timeline is already expressed on the bits, and I will try to time stretch. So I press Shift and then drag one of the edges until it be aligned or snapped to a bit. When I do the whole thing is time stretched, as to the new tempo.
Oh, okay. That's useful.
Yeah, it's one way to do that. There are several ways to do the same thing.
Of course. And, the best
But
way
it
is
depends. If you are starting from scratch, you are beginning something, you don't know the tempo is. You go one way. But if you have already, this is my piece of this tempo. I want it to be of this tempo, of this rhythm, and I have to adjust the clip, the audio clip. The MIDI is automatic. It's inherent to them. But for audio, we have to stretch or shrink the audio over to the length that corresponds to a measure or to a bar.
No, I can work with this.
And as you said before, by stretching, you're not losing quality.
It's not. I think that I lose qualities. The more you stretch, more you alter it, more artifacts appears. If you stretch too long or you shrink too, there are many artifacts. It's more suitable for percussive sounds, for beats and for vocal or for harmonic sounds with very many harmonics. The sound becomes robotic or metallic if you stretch too much.
Okay.
But only with the algorithms that you are exposed in the open source world. If you use Elastic Pro, you don't get so much artifacts. But they don't allow also to stretch too much anyway. So I don't even know if the Elastic is called that way or Zplane still exists. Zplane.de. I think the people from Zplane moved to Melodyne.
Zplane?
Zplane.de. You know Melodyne also?
Yeah.
And the features that you find in Melodyne out there.
The website's still active.
Yeah, probably is, but is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's still here. That's what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know which called anything.
Yeah.
Something. Elastic pitch. It's rebranded to the product.
Oh, yeah.
Central.
That's payable.
Yeah, it's proprietary code
Yeah.
source.
That's what I mean,
You cannot put that in open source, GPL code, things like that.
Why not?
You can, but you cannot distribute
No.
as GPL allows you to. So it violates GPL. So your code, if you link to that code to a proprietary closed source, your own code that you said was GPL cannot be GPL.
Yeah, of course.
At least you cannot give to the user saying that it's GPL. It's something else, but not GPL. Yeah. So you're not protected by free software foundation. And they're a bunch of lawyers. Anything else, please? Anything? I mean, I don't know if you...
Can you put this
The
in?
other group is,
Yeah, it's done.
yeah. Kind of food.
How much time was it?
Not very much.
It's 2 hours?
It's 12. What day is it?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours, huh?
We have-
Okay, so if nothing else matters,
We have a break to talk about it.
I will see you
This is
still
the-
here
uh,
until Sunday, so...
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
but that's cool.
Yeah.
So we...
And if all else fails, I'll come back to Lisbon and
Yeah.
we can have a beer and talk about it.
I don't think that anything else will fail. Do you expect anything to fail?
No, not really. Except for my,
At least drastically or
Yeah.
catastrophically.
yeah, no, yeah. Okay, mine. Can I try my presentation on your laptop?
I do. Yeah, you can try. But you see, my laptop has this problem. It's a full HD, and you have to only part of the...
Oh, you have
Yeah,
no
problem.
Yeah, then it's probably not going to work.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll
See you.
still around. So
Much appreciated.
see you later.
Thank you.